was just watching by the way, are you guys recording?
Nope.
I am, miss.
Okay. And let
So
me
it's
know once
basically
you
enough.
pause the recording or anything.
This I'm gonna get out of bed.
Okay. Anyways, we're gonna talk about the homework later because I have received 11 assignments or 12. You were supposed to submit it here. Did you guys have any time?
Oh, I emailed
Miss,
them.
I emailed it.
It is written in the instructions that you're supposed to post it here. Email
Or
the
on
to which
Google.
email? I'm
Miss
good.
Naldenboy, Google Classroom.
Dustin, I have yours.
Miss, did you mark them?
So I got that. Haven't marked anyone. It's out of 10.
Miss بقوم جربهم
Written
صح
10.
حساباش
10 points.
Oh, wait, Miss, I sent mine, but it wasn't on your email list.
Yeah,
You are
I
supposed
sent
to
my
send it to my
oh yeah
Gmail email, even if you send it to me, because my
Miss,
BIS email, and I think I posted this on Google Classroom as well, my BIS email doesn't work anymore.
Oh,
Right?
Miss
Miss, I
وين
sent it
عندهم
to the
بو
wrong
جيميل
email.
اكونت كتو نسيب بيننا بو جوجل بو جيميل اگر هاشتاج تعويض
I said if you
وين
needed
والله
anything for this specific exercise, I said if you wanted to contact me, send me, or for any other purposes, you know, just make sure you contact me through my Gmail email because my BIS doesn't work.
يا
Miss,
وسام السام الكردومة
Okay.
Miss, I sent it to the wrong one. Can I turn it in right now? Because I sent it yesterday, but it's the wrong one.
It's fine. Turn it in as soon as you can. Okay, turn it in after this lesson. Okay, not this lesson. Okay, I will know when you have turned it in. Okay.
مس ام جارة وانا ايميل كان صح حكيت
Yeah. But next time I will also again write it. Make sure you post your homework in this list.
جوجل
Okay.
كلاسروم اوكي
Google Classroom.
اوكي
For those of you who have sent it to me via email, turn it into this sheet. Okay.
استا
This page. After this lesson, okay? After this lesson. Do not be busy right now, okay? After this lesson, turn it into here. I will only grade those who have submitted it here, okay? Okay. Okay. And if you're having any problems turning in your homework, just send it to me through email mentioning that you're having problems with. Okay. Now, we're going to discuss this homework in the next lesson. Not now, because some of you still have not turned it in. But by next lesson, I'm expecting all of you to have turned it in. Let's start. Make sure you change your names. Change your names to something that represents your name, your own name. Okay, your nickname. Okay, Dr. Mervin. What is this butter chicken recipe? Change your name, guys. Okay. Okay, good. So today we're gonna talk. We finished chapter 7. All right. We had some sort of homework. If you have any questions, please let me know. We're gonna have a quick review of chapter 7 next lesson as well when we review the homework. Today we're gonna talk about chapter 8, safety and security. Okay. Now, this chapter talks about the physical aspects as well as the, the electronic aspects of safety and security as well. We're going to discuss this. Physical safety regards health aspects and safety aspects. You're not supposed to be too close to your electronic device. You're not supposed to use your electronic device for quite some time, for a long time, and stuff like that. Safety aspects regard safety aspect regards for example, the cables are not supposed to be visible. You know, you shouldn't overload your electrical distributor or outlet. E-safety, this is regarding electronic safety. That means any safety on the internet. Safety when using the internet. Make sure you're using firewall. Make sure you don't give out your password. Make sure your password is strong. Stuff like that. And then, of course, data security. This covers a lot of stuff in terms of hacking, viruses, malware, phishing, spam cookies, a lot of stuff. This is the longest part of the chapter. So this chapter is divided into three main topics: physical safety, electronic safety, and data security. Physical safety. Okay, just let me. Yeah. Let me just add a transition because it just annoys me. And there's no transition. Okay. Number one, physical safety. Okay. Let me get this text box. Health aspects. Health aspects, you know, we do have a lot of issues regarding health when you use technology. Technology is there. Sometimes it's used to heal you, but most of the times the way we use it is not a very healthy way. Some of them cause psychological issues, distraction caused by technology, cognitive issues. This we see a lot in this younger generation. Do you know what cognitive issues are?
The eyes.
Cognitive issues is hard to understand something. Okay, for example, if I'm explaining something, I'll have to explain it 3 times for you to understand, compared to the previous generations, which we had to explain, for example, once or twice. So the younger generation, this is getting more visible. The younger the generation gets, the newer the generation gets, it's getting more visible. And by now you should feel the difference between yourselves and, for example, primary students. You will see that they are having a harder time to understand. They're more stupid, to be honest, to be straightforward. And one, well, it doesn't, this technology is making them like that. It's not their fault, okay? Dude, human brain is so powerful. There is we claim that computers are intelligent or smart, huh? There is no supercomputer that processes information the way that human brain processes it. They're trying so hard to be a little bit close to the human brain, but they can't do it. Okay, processing information in human brain, and I think those of you, if you attended a lecture I gave during lunch break, algorithms and problem solving, I talked about this as well. So it's the technology that drives them stupid, not themselves. And short attention span. By the way, these are not in the book. We're just discussing these. It is based on a research that I read. I think it was 3 years ago. Average attention span of the younger generation is 3 seconds. That means you cannot stay on one thing for more than 3 seconds. You will scroll down or just have to do something else. You cannot have your full attention for more than 3 seconds. And this is average. It could be more, and it changes according to the people, but it's very sad. And what makes the attention span really, really short is the video games. Because in video games, you have to move very fast and work very fast. And that makes your attention span really short, okay? Human brain is very powerful. They get used to these things. And unfortunately, you're not training it very well. So if we know that the attention span of the younger generation is 3 seconds, so we have to develop video games or softwares or applications or technologies or anything that would target their attention, that would change, something that would change. That's why because if you want to develop something or make a product, you have to know your audience, and your audience attention span is 3 seconds. That means books will not have much of a value anymore. Okay. Very, very sad. Anyways, other issues will be narcissism, or we're not going to get into these things, but technology, despite all of its, benefits, they do have some health issues as well if you are not aware of how you use it. You're not properly using it. The table on page 145, okay, this talks about the health risks, okay? The way it comes up in the exam, and by the way, almost all of the years there are questions regarding health issues, okay? Describe like health issues regarding prolonged use of IT or technology and how you can minimize it. So you're gonna say back and neck problems, of course, caused by sitting in front of this computer screen. How do you minimize it? Personally, I get up of my computer, because sometimes when you work on a research or when you start developing, you will be on your computer for quite some time. But I set alarm clocks and I get up and take a short walk every 45 minutes to avoid eye strain, repetitive strain injury, eye strain. You have to look at some sort of a far point, and then look back to your screen. You cannot just stare at your screen for too long. And this happens a lot with video games, and it's very, very bad. Headaches and ozone irritation. Forget about this ozone irritation. It's when you use lasers, and any technology that uses the laser technology. Anyways, read this on your own. This is very straightforward. I'm not gonna go over it. At least you know that there are some health issues regarding the prolonged use of IT or using technology inappropriately. Please be more careful when you use technology from now on. Okay. Any questions regarding health aspects? No. Okay. The physical safety is divided into two major parts. One is health aspect, okay, and then another is safety aspects. The health aspects were, you know, when you use the computer, what you're supposed to do, how can you be more careful, and stuff like that. The safety aspect, for example, you have wired networks, okay? What could be the risk of having a wired network? Let's consider you will trip. You could trip if
It's going to be really messy.
okay. So if they are not managed properly, it will have a messy appearance. You will flip over it. Nobody knows. Actually, I personally, it has happened to me. Thirdly, you know, data travels between the components and the wires through electrical current. That means it is electricity. That means there is risk of fire, right? So, and we have electrical shocks, you know, in a lot of places. This is not something that we haven't seen. It happened in Park City. It happened at the dorms of AUIS. We had to evacuate immediately. Okay. So it happened in one of the labs at AUIS as well, IT labs. So you have to be very careful. So cables should be well hidden and out of the way. That's why we mostly use underground cables. Even if you don't use underground cable, make sure that they're hidden. Use cable ties to gather them tidily together. Did you guys come? We didn't do the academic trip this year. But if you go to any server room, all the cables are tied together, but each cable has a label. And that label refers to what is this cable leading to. That's how you usually manage networking. Okay. What happens if you drink next to your computer? What's gonna happen? Nothing?
Electrocution, miss?
There's a chance of spilling the water on the computer, and you know how water reacts with electricity, and yeah.
Your computer will be gone. Done. My brother did that. He drank Pepsi next to the computer and it spilled over the keyboard, and of course it leaked into the motherboard of the computer to the processors, and done. We had to buy a new laptop. And by that time, laptops were really, really expensive. Okay, you may spill over it. Risk of electrocursion. Electrocursion is when you have electrical shock because water has the chance of messing up with your electrical distribution of your computer. The keyboard, mouse, CPU could be affected. Yes, that's what my brother did. what to do if a drink is spilled on your computer. What to do? Change your computer. Trust me. If your drink is spilled on your computer, you have to buy a new laptop. No way. Unless you have a desktop computer and you have your keyboard separate from your motherboard. In that case, you'll only change the keyboard. Otherwise, you have to buy a new laptop. Electrical overload.
Miss, could you go back to, like for a minute, please?
Sure.
Sorry.
Okay. Electrical overload. Okay, we all know what that is. Okay. When not and that's a typo there. When an extension lead has several sockets for you to plug more than one into, you might find that once you have everything plugged in together, they add up more than the maximum current rating stated for the extension lead. This is called electrical overload. More than the maximum current rating stated for the extension lead. Okay. What is the risk of electrical overload? Overheat and possibly fire. Physical safety. It tells you not to plug in more devices than what the extension lead can take. In fact, I am not following that at my own house. Unfortunately, that's not good. But it's a good reminder, you know. But I need it. I need the electrical overload in my house. Okay, guys, be careful. Just be careful. Trailing cables. What happens if someone trips on a cable? Injury or electric shock to the person? That's pretty straightforward. Damage to the lead or the plug. Damage to the equipment attached to the cable. And then again, table on page 146. Is it 146? Safety issues? Yes, it is 146. Electrocution, and then trailing wires, and then heavy equipment, fire risk. And also make sure that you have your shelves properly secured and you don't overload your shelves as well. You know, you have all of these things. Consider, you know, safety issues, aspects, sorry. Other risks associated with computer equipment: hardware might fall during movement. Shelf designed to carry. Is the shelf designed to carry that much weight? Will the hardware fit into the shelf? Is it easily accessible, or are you going to use a ladder, or just step onto another part of the shelf? So we all know these things already, but we don't follow it, unfortunately. But later on, you will be responsible if you don't. As for example, me, if I do not design my lab properly and do not follow the health and safety aspects of my lab, first of all, it's a risk on myself. Okay. Secondly, on the students. Thirdly, I'll get a warning. Fourth, Cambridge sometimes comes, and if they do not see the health and safety regulations being followed, they'll just take away the license, because these things matter. Okay? Safety first. Okay. Consider the computer systems in your school. What do you think? Does the school follow the health and safety aspects that we just talked about?
Kind of, but
Be straightforward. What are the things that you can think of right now that school follows and does not follow?
they don't follow electrical overload.
They don't follow electrical overload. Okay. What else? Anyone? Come on. Students usually and teachers drink next to their computers. I must say, I personally do that. Okay. By the way, if most of the labs, in most of the computer labs, if you have a closed container, for example, a water bottle, that's allowed, because even if it falls, it will not spill over the technological devices or any other devices over there. But they do drink and eat next to their computers. What else? I must say the wires are properly hidden. Okay? They're very well hidden. Unless very necessary, they're not visible. The shelves, each desk has one computer, has one laptop, especially if you consider the ICT lab. So the shelves are properly designed. Okay. Okay. Do users of the computer systems follow safety guidelines suggested? Do you guys follow the safety guide? Do users of the computer systems at school, that means you guys, follow the safety guidelines suggested?
Yeah.
Okay. One of the suggestions regarding the health aspects, it says you have to have a 40-degree angle between you and the computer. Okay. So that means the device shouldn't be too low that would hurt your neck. No, none of you guys follow that, okay? Yeah. Okay, that should be enough for now. Okay, how about your computer system at home?
Absolutely
Okay,
not.
rest in peace for that computer, because if my brother did that. Look. You never know what's gonna happen. The other day I broke a plate out of nowhere. It just fell and I broke it. Doesn't mean that I do not know how to hold a plate, of course, but things happen. Any questions? Make sure you know what the health issue is, what is the cause of the health issue, and how to minimize it or prevent. Okay, these things will come up in the exam, and the answer of the question is just to know the table that is on page 145, 146, nothing else. Okay. E-safety, safety on the internet. Now, by now you should already guess that how can you protect yourself on the internet. Make sure you have proper passwords, make sure you use those passwords, make sure you don't go for insecure websites, stuff like that. Internet and other electronic media to communicate. Okay, what are the electronic media to communicate that we use for communication?
Like, you mean social media?
Social media. I'm talking about hardware.
Hardware? Oh.
What do you use to communicate with others?
Phones, I
Mobile
don't
phone.
know.
Okay. Yeah.
Computers,
Computers, tablets.
tablets.
Okay. Mobile phones. Okay. E-safety refers to protecting everyone from harm while they are using new and developing technology so that they don't put themselves or others at risk. Okay. Sometimes if you go to an insecure website, they will install a rootkit on your computer. And this rootkit will affect not only your computer, but also every other computer connected to your network. That means everyone else connected to the same access point at your home. Okay, that's why it's not only, it's just like the coronavirus. It's not only you're responsible. It's not, you're not protecting yourself only, but you're protecting everyone else. And at the same time, putting everyone else at risk if you're not aware. Okay, make sure you know this definition, by the way. This is important. Okay. E-safety issues, and then e-safety risks resulted from inappropriate uses. I think there's, okay. Okay, e-safety issues or risks. For example, so we're considering issues regarding the internet, when you use the internet. One very, very common thing is something called cyberbullying. The book also talks about this, by the way. Cyberbullying, what is cyberbullying? Is just, you know, bullying. But
Bullying online.
yeah, using electronic devices to bully someone. This is mostly
Excuse you.
yeah, this is mostly visible on social media networks, websites. Okay. We have something called cyber attack. You should be very aware of this. Okay, this is attack on users' computer / device, whatever they use. Okay, video games are a huge source of cyber attacks. Okay, we're going to talk about the different types of attacks later on. Very easy to hack into the system when you do online gaming. Also, video games, okay, violence in games, okay, what do they lead to? Lead to violent behavior.
Miss, that's not true.
It is true. You don't know the human brain. Why do they say this game is not for children? Okay, because children's mind, Fortnite causes school shooting. Okay, it's not. Huh? Has happened? Okay. Wow. Listen, children's minds are very whatever you give it, however the environment is, okay, this child is going to grow up like that. They will adapt, okay? If you have a lazy environment, the child is going to grow up being a lazy person, okay? Noisy environment, this child is going to grow up being talkative or noisy, okay? Or if you have an environment where all of the brothers and sisters, for example, they study and there's no TV and they all what they all do is study, and this child is going to start reading, okay, and spend most of his or her time reading, which was the case of me. You know, my mom only turned on the TV for 1 hour, half an hour actually, for half an hour during dinner, and that's it. And for the rest of the time, my brothers, you know, used to go to study, and I had nothing else to do but to, you know, to study and to read. And even now, even though I have all of these electronic devices right all around me, I prefer to read the book because that's how I was brought up. Environment really, still there is, that doesn't mean if I have all of these things around me, it's not going to affect me. It has affected me a lot, and I feel so sorry for myself because I've seen the changes. You know, 3 years ago, I used to read much more than the way I read right now. It makes me much more tired, and, you know, I just don't want to continue with what I'm doing. So if you play Fortnite, that doesn't mean you're going to become a killer. You're not going to shoot people, but you're going to become violent, okay? You'll not accept things. You might just, you know, shout, and you're just going to become, you're just going to have a violent behavior. I don't know what that is. Okay. So you can see that, just imagine young children playing such things. Humans' mind is very fragile, and especially at these young ages, they're very fragile. So these things affect the human brain, whatever age you are. So please be careful, guys, okay? By the way, my favorite video games used to be, even now, Metal Gear Solid. Yeah, it was still violent though. Tomb Raider, Lara Croft, and thirdly, it was my most favorite one was Final Fantasy. Okay, I did play Resident Evil, and it made me sometimes, you know, I was very young. I was afraid of ant. Huh? Yeah, of course, San Andreas. It came up in PlayStation 2, though. It wasn't available in PlayStation 1. All right. So we've all played video games, and trust me, I know things. Personal experience, I have experienced it, and I'm gonna tell you, it's not good at all whatsoever. No benefit.
Miss, I play Animal Crossing and I don't have any violent urges.
That means first, you don't know when these things happen to you guys. You don't know. It's unintentional. Okay, over time, over a long period of time, over prolonged, that's why we say this, prolonged use of IT over a long period of time, then you'll see the changes. Okay. Well, for that time, for that purpose, you can just watch a 10-minute or 5-minute YouTube video, and
Miss,
that's
actually, I agree with you because one of my
10-minute
family,
YouTube video, maximum 10 minutes, I must say.
Miss,
But
actually,
your attention span is so low that you cannot sit and watch a 10-minute video game. I bet. Yeah. Yes. So don't tell me that it has not had any effect on you. Your attention span. Especially you, Dustin. You cannot sit for 1 minute. Yeah, I know. I have my personal experience with you. Yalla. Personal data. Okay. What is personal data? So regarding the internet, what we try to protect the most, okay, is our personal data. Oops. Personal data. Personal data, and there are many questions like this. What is personal data and how can we protect personal data over the internet? Okay. So the definition of personal data you should know. Any information related to identifiable living individual, anything that would help someone recognize that it's you. Example would be your name, your address, your date of birth, medical history, or banking details. We have more sensitive though, more sensitive personal data as well, which are ethnicity, political views, religion, and activity. Be aware of these things on social media. Be very, very aware of this, okay? Some of you do not even have your own real names on Discord, and you do that for a reason, because it matters, because you don't want to be identifiable, okay? Huh? Who was that? Who was that? Well, if somebody doesn't know you, who's this beans? Change your names, guys.
Miss, can you go back on the slide?
Yes, thank you. So, some of us, regarding some social media websites, we are okay, kind of okay to display our names. For example, on Facebook or Instagram, okay? Or our address, or our date of birth, okay? Okay? Sometimes, some of us, okay? But please be aware of your ethnicity and political views and religion and criminal. Okay, this will definitely not apply on you, but please be aware of your ethnicity and political views and religion. Okay, try not to post anything or talk about anything that regards your religion and political views or ethnicity and targeting, you know, specific group. And don't even talk about it, even forget about internet, don't even talk about it publicly with other people. These things are very personal, okay? Things like gender, we don't put gender on CV. When you write a resume or a CV, they told us, make sure you don't put date of birth or your age, make sure you don't put a picture of yourself, and make sure you don't put any like ethnicity, political views, religion, age, picture, things like that.
والله مش
Okay.
كردستان وياك.
Kurdistan, the problem here is that their CV, they don't have anything to put it on, so they put a nice picture of themselves, especially the girls, and they get accepted only by that picture. Okay. And sometimes someone else has a really good CV, and just because he put a picture of himself and the HR person just doesn't like what they see, they just reject him. That's very unfortunate. And it's very, very visible in our country, and it's part of the corruption that is going on in this country. Okay. We had in the previous company I used to work for, there were 2 CVs left out of, the filtering, when they filter out the CVs. 2 CVs were the best. Okay. Of course, they had the names, but no age, no picture. Okay. And these 2 CVs were equivalent in terms of qualification. One of them got accepted because they thought he was a woman. The name was more of like a girl kind of name. They thought so. And when the guy came and he was a man, they regretted it. So
Oh my God. Nakatagira.
that's very unfortunate. He was very successful in his job, though. He was very smart. But
And
anyways,
Miss Tao na boy niya so pancha.
Yanzo Panja, I think. What is my next slide? Facebook, social media. Oh my God. Okay, we're gonna continue. We're gonna continue with this next lesson. But before that, let me take registration, please.
Miss, could you go on the personal data to like, I can just look at one of the thingies.
Where's eSafety? eSafety, personal data. This information could be on computer, paper, IT system, or CCTV. Okay, so we got 12 April.
Thank you,
And
Miss.
you're welcome. Amir? Not here. But
He's here.
okay.